Big V, Verl Workman here. Welcome to our Facebook Live. It's our Wednesday flash briefing, and all I know is that I needed to do something to make this look good. So I invited my dear friend Terry Murphy to join me today. Terry, say hello to everybody.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Terry's my tough Italian that's from actually from Tennessee, so she doesn't sound like she has much of a Tennessee accent. Make sure as you come on, you say. I was going to say hi to everybody as they come on. Tell us where you're from. Say hello as you come on to the Facebook Live. Let us know you're here and where you're from. We're going to talk about staying focused today. And as we get ready to get started today, I would love to just take a minute and share with you a little Terry Murphy, a little who Terry Murphy is. You know, there's very few people in my life that I hold in such high esteem. Terry is a good friend. She's a mentor. She's a lot of things. She's an author, a speaker. She's one of our master coaches at Workman Success Systems, which is no small task. To be a master coach, you have to go through the refiner's fire. You have to go through and really make a difference in the lives of the people you serve. Terry's been with me since the beginning when we started Workman Success Systems and has just been a tremendous asset as she delivers content and ideas and is constantly helping all of us be better. And that's what I love about her. My kids think her name is Aunt Terry, and so she's very much involved in my family. One of the cool things about Terry and I have a few things in common. One, we're both coaches. We both like to speak. The first time I met Terry, it was at a seminar. I think we were in Texas, and she was speaking in the room next to me, and I hadn't even met her. And she came in, I thought she worked for the hotel because she started organizing like all of my handouts and arranging all the water glasses and making sure that the pictures were in the right place. And I finally went up to her and said, "Oh, you're so nice. I've never had anybody from the hotel helping me." She says, "Oh, I'm not with the hotel. I'm speaking in the room next door. I just wanted to make sure you had everything." That is Terry Murphy. Terry is a true giver. And from the very first time I met her, that's how she's been. Terry had a really cool honor last year to be able to be invited to do a TED Talk. And if you haven't had a chance to see Terry's TED Talk, I encourage you to log on and go find it. Just search for Terry Murphy, and you'll find her TED Talk in there. And it's life-changing. It changes the way you look at the world and makes you appreciate everything that you have. Terry, welcome, and thank you for being here. Glad you're here.
Oh, thank you for that gorgeous introduction. I just hope it's true. Thank you so much. But it's true. We said way back, even when I could lift your children.
Yeah, that's funny. You know, Brianne, I think you met her when she turned 8, and she got a little goody little bar.
Little Nate, little Rye.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a great time, and it was a great blessing that still, so you and I both know as you live your life and you go down that highway, the things that really count mean so much. And to me, it's all about relationships.
It so is. And I appreciate everybody being here, and thanks for taking time out of your busy days. I know it's fun to do a Facebook Live. You know why? Because I'm zoomed out. I have Zoom fatigue. It's real. And so now we can do a Facebook Live, no Zoom. There's no Zoom on this. How cool is that?
And you get fresh air because everybody that's there can talk to you, and it's just fabulous. And it's a great way to reach out.
Yeah. And so I appreciate y'all being here. Sarah Michelle says she loves Terry Murphy. Irene says you're amazing. Julie Timms from Hilton Head, South Carolina says Terry's TED Talk is awesome. So a lot of love out there for you, Miss Murph.
I'm going to have to buy them all a car. Thank you so much for that.
Be careful because we have that recorded, and you actually will. So, I don't want you to make promises that you feel like you have to keep, because you will. So, Terry, this whole pandemic issue, this has been a crazy year for all of us. We started off with a big bang, and then all of a sudden, somebody pressed pause. The pause button got pushed, and now here we all are trying to figure out what's next.
And what a gift it is. Now, I'm not going to mitigate the tragedy and some of the hard pivots people are having to make, but here's what we've got. Have you ever said, gee, if I only had more time, and here's what the universe did. They put their big fat thumb on pause on the whole world. This isn't just about, 38104, any of that. This is the whole world.
Right.
And it's a great time out for us to get introspective, because never before, even consciousness, have we thought this would ever happen. And so here we are sitting at our homes, right, which is going to help us decide if we want to be sequestered here going forward. But here we are at our homes, forced, not really forced, but guided to look into our lives and say, is this the life I intended to create? And now you have a chance to either look at it as a roadblock with creativity or as a rabbit hole, and you're not playing. So I got to say, what are you doing?
Right. And I think that it's so funny, wherever we are in life, we always wish we were doing something else or somewhere else. I mean, as you travel for a living and you spend time around on airplanes, how many times have you said, I just wish I could be at home more with my family, right? And now here we are, and we're like, get me out of here.
It's like, pay those teachers more money.
Julie says, come on down to Hilton Head. You can get out. Come on down to Hilton Head. So Terry, last night, one of the cool blessings is, all my kids live close. Now, I'm a big family, but I can't have everybody over because my neighbors would call the police saying that we're not social distancing. And so generally it's the 40 people at the Workman's on Sunday. Well, we haven't been doing that. We've told our kids that we just need everybody to stay safe, and we set the example of doing that. Well, we're starting to finally loosen up a little bit. So my little granddaughter, Haley, had a birthday. And so we had her come over last night, and she got to hang out with us. So Haley came over, and my job, and it was a true job, I was giving her the job that I needed to teach her how to take the training wheels off her bike and ride a two-wheeler. So I don't know. It's a big moment for me. I'm like, Colleen, get the video camera. She's like, what? Turn your phone on. And so I've got a little Haley, and I want you to think about this, Terry, because here's my metaphor for the day. And so I've got little Haley, and she's just a sweetheart. I've got her so strapped in. She's got elbow pads, wrist guards, a helmet on. I think I wrapped her whole body. She could hit a car, and the car would be in trouble. So she's like, nothing can happen to this poor little girl, and she's scared. And so I said, okay, start pedaling. And so I'm walking alongside right now. You keep pedaling. As long as you keep pedaling, you'll maintain your balance. But if you stop pedaling, you're going to tip. And so she'd pedal, and she'd see something scary, and she'd stop pedaling, and she'd fall. And that happened 4 or 5 times until she finally got the message that you got to keep pedaling, otherwise you lose your balance. And then I started letting go of her shirt a little bit, and then a little bit more. And then pretty soon she's riding by herself and going, and I couldn't stop her. Finally, it's dark. I'm like, you got to come in now, because she's riding this little bike around. And all of that simple little concept is you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep pedaling. Otherwise, you're going to lose balance and fall down.
What a great analogy, because, there's not a lot I remember. I can't remember like this morning, let alone yesterday. But think about the moment that you did that and the exhilaration that you could if you just kept pedaling. And I think that's a phenomenal analogy here, because you may not be able to go down that street, but here's all these streets you didn't even know existed. Even Oprah said that in a commercial. She said, this is giving us new things to discover that have been there, but we just never went that direction. So, I'm going to tell you, is it going to be easy? No. There's going to be things that we've gotten so used to. But if you are your attention, and if you're going to focus on the pedaling, you won't notice anything else.
Right.
And I just got done with Cleve Gaddis. Cleve was so generous. He gave me an interview on empowering people with data transformation versus data content. And again, if you focused on what's actually happening based on what happened last year, you will see we're not that far off, because people still have to move. People's life change every day. Every day somebody is, getting more family, sizing down, whatever. And wow, what a great opportunity for you to grab that ball and pedal your way into a whole new realm of competency that you would never have done before.
Yeah, I love that. I love the whole concept. And Cleve's always fun to have on. I learn a lot from him, as I do all our master coaches, as they share their brilliance with me. This is like totally my secret to success, is I surround myself with people that are smarter than me, and then I just say their things with more enthusiasm.
Yeah, not only that, but you also hire a lot of people whose mothers were not eating meatballs. These kids can do all this technological stuff and make you look fabulous. Oh my God. If we could just clone Shiloh and Alyssa and Lindsay and
right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I appreciate everybody that's on the live. And boy, a lot of people saying hi to you. April Ray says, like Caprice Gunn says, tell Terry hello. And she's amazing. And you have like 5 thumbs up, a couple of OKs and a heart. That's
Well,
pretty
like the
good.
heart.
That's impressive.
Thank you. I need all the love I can get.
And then I don't know when someone puts my name and has a little mute sign by it, but I don't know what they're trying to tell me, Terry. Is that like, stop talking and let Terry go? So
Stop.
Terry, I'm curious, and this is like for everybody that's watching this, is with all of your consulting and the coaching that you're doing right now, what are you telling people? How are you messaging right now to set people up to be true leaders as you develop these leaders?
That is such a good question, and here's how I answer that. I tell them to shut their windows and shut their doors. Shut your windows, meaning windows, and shut your door.
Ah.
Okay. And the reason is because fear sells. Okay. It just does. And if a true leader understands that there's always a creative way around that roadblock. Roadblocks are good. I mean, they're not fun and they're not convenient and sometimes they're tragic, but at the end of the day, it makes you have to think differently. And we've been rolling down this real estate thing forever. You and I, especially, where we've been in real estate forever. And, we think we buy and help people buy and sell homes. That's not what we do. What we really have to do is help them make the right decisions. And because we used to be the gatekeepers of housing inventory. Now we have so many brilliant platforms where we can control that data transformation from data dump into data transformation so that I can help you make a better decision about what you might want to do with you and your family. So that's leadership. It's safety, it's trust, it's authenticity. And, one of the things that we have an issue with is we don't know what to do first. I mean, we've never had this where we got put in timeout. And not only now are we dealing with working at home, which some of us have done, but now your family's home, the dog, everybody's here. So you got to shut that door.
Right.
And I go with the Tim Ferriss thing, set that timer, even in small increments to move that needle forward. Because if you keep pedaling, you're going to get where you want to go.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. When you're saying shut your windows and shut your doors, I'm like, I'd have to get a bigger mask because I wouldn't be able to stand it in there. We're doing our 30-second workouts in between our Zoom calls, and then we're shutting the doors and the windows. It's going to get ugly really fast.
Well, that really comes from Douglas Rushkoff's book called Present Shock, and he talks about digital schizophrenia. And what happens is we get these pings and dings and notifications and whatever, and your human analog brain takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds to go back to where it was. So you might say to yourself, I'm just going to answer that email. I'm just going to do that. But what'll happen is that multitasking of your brain will make you extremely tired and poor because it's not productive. And so I say, shut your windows and your doors. What are your core values that you want to move forward? If it's skill advancement, 15 minutes to read 3 pages, 15 minutes. If it's I want to call 5 people and talk to them about not, by the way, how's your family and whatever. It's like, if I had the ability to help you with one problem today, what could it be? And I got some. And Cleve did a spectacular job on that, giving them relevant data information for people who wouldn't answer him, who are now like, oh yeah, that's right on. Because you're only going to pay attention to what you need. And so if you just decide these small roadblocks, one of my favorite books, of course, is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I keep it around all the time. And it's that minuscule action in the moment that moves you forward. It's that minuscule action that you keep your focus and you get what you want instead of keeping it out there. And so if you're asking me, shut those windows and those doors. Your kids are going to live. 5 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, our parents used to throw us out and say, come back after dinner. Seriously, they're going to be okay. 5, 10 minutes, you can do this.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to press pause also and go and hug them and love them and spend time with them because you're there, but then get back to work.
Yeah. And here's the thing. There's a mind shift that happens when you work at home. Because it's the place that you live. So you sleep there, you rest there, you relax there, you interface with people, and you'll see where people are starting to get antsy because they can't reach out and touch people now.
Yep.
Drive-by birthday parties, leaving things at people's doors. It's our human need to connect. And when you realize that there could be as many as 500 people a month that are looking for help in your zip code, you should be there to help them. And when you help them, it's not like, how you doing? You got to get a little more granular than that and say, here's what's happening if there's a forbearance issue. Here's what's happening if you've lost your job. Here's how I could help you with the PPP program. You become that resource and they don't forget it.
Yeah, it's been amazing the number of people that don't know what to do. They are just looking for someone that that cares about them without wanting something back.
Well, and that's the one thing that I think, even when we talk about top 50 and we talk about touching them and underlying that, if we can get to the why, it's not to say, here I am, don't you know somebody who wants to buy or sell, but here's how can I be the most value to you? I just did a video with Shep Hyken on amazing customer service. And I'm going to share those with all of our Workman people, by the way, because I'm getting them from almost all the top speakers roundtable people. These are people that get 25, 50,000 plus a speech. And they're all doing 3-minute videos on what you can do to add value. And it's all about giving. Everybody has talked about giving, not to get back,
right?
But in that power of the moment to create a space of safety and love, I'll say love, and true support for someone. Oh yeah, they're going to beat your door down to find you when they need you because you valued them. And so our as a leader, our value is to help our team members. If they're going to help people, how are they converting it? What are they saying? What are they doing to give those people a chance to nurture that lead to that point where they can say, I need you, or I don't need you right now. Okay, fine. Well, what about 120 days from now or 6 years from now? People need food, shelter, and clothing, and everybody's in yoga pants this week and this month. Don't worry about clothing. Get into shelter.
Well, you at least got to look good from the waist up.
Yep, you do. You got to be really cute.
Got to be really going. So Terry, you are a true master of connection. You connect with people more deeply than anybody I've ever met in my life, and I've met a lot of people. How has that changed for you, and how do we keep that connection? You talk about people have this need to connect. You you force connection everywhere you go.
Well, I figure if you landed in my life with 52 billion people on Earth, and you crossed with me, there was a reason for it, and so I have a deep respect for that. Even if they're a cranky pants a person, there's got to be a pony in the pile. There's a silver lining. There's something. There's a reason there was a convergence there, and you asked me why I connect, because I think that deeply, our other than conscious seeks connection. Because whatever has you alive, has me alive, has a bug alive, and when it's a life force. And so if you respect the dignity of that life force, it's precious. Again, even if it's the IRS or it's somebody cranky, it doesn't make any difference. That's a human, and you don't know what kind of pain they're in. You don't know what's happening in their life. Even if they've got a broken arm and you can see it's in a cast, you don't have one. So all you can do is empathize. And so when you really understand that, who else I got to interview this week was Bob Berg from The Go-Giver.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And Bob and I go way back. I like to tease him because he was, back in the early days of Cosmopolitan Magazine, he was the Bachelor of the Month. And I never let him forget that. I'm actually in his book, Endless Referrals. And we've been friends since that came out many years ago. And in his latest series called The Go-Giver, he talks about the 5 stratospheric laws of success, and authenticity is one of them. Michael Creasa, one of the people that we work with, that video guy, he'll always say, how can I help you?
Yeah, he means it.
And he means it. Michael will go to the ends of the earth to help you out. How would you like to have somebody like that in your close circle of BFFs? Somebody you could call and go, hey, you have any paprika? I need it. It's the kind of person that you just know has your back. And if you really want to experience the highest form of, I'll say, peace, it's when you are collaborating with the life force in a positive and loving way. And that's kind of how I roll with that.
Well, it's not something you put on because the coronavirus came. Now, all of a sudden, you're not connecting with people deeply. It's who you have always been. Has it been harder to do it and not be able to have? I need a real Terry hug, not a virtual one. And that you know what I mean? There's a different feeling when
you get a hug really from connect. Big B. It'll last for a while.
So we good for 6 months?
Oh, it's divine. I'm going to tell you, that has been the hardest part, especially being Italian. So last night there was a desperate attempt for one of our neighbors to have a birthday party. Her daughters, they wanted, and oh my God, and it poured, and then it didn't, and the sun came out, and all these people were programmed to drive around the cul-de-sac, and little birthday signs hanging out, and they had masks on and everything. I mean, nobody was really congregating except her family, but it speaks to the human spirit about how to connect. So what can you do when you can't take somebody to lunch and you can't have a party? Well, you do something that is so unique to them that it warms their heart. And that means it goes past the conscious to the emotional side, where they make a connection, an emotional connection, which I know how powerful that is. So maybe I just walked down the street the other day and dropped off a full dinner to somebody who I knew couldn't get out. Just a full dinner. Left it on the thing. It's got a little note, authentic Italian cuisine, boom. I mean, oh my God, you thought I, gave them a lifetime guarantee vacation or something. You can touch without touching. You just have to be creative, but not just one and done. I mean, be personal.
I want to be on your street and meet an authentic Italian meal. I'm thinking, how do I get one of those? I made the mistake of having Terry over for dinner one time and thought I'd make Italian food. And she looked at me and she's like, yeah, that is not how we do it. Get out of the way. And she just turned her loose in the kitchen. It was like, I didn't even care if the food was good. It was just an experience to watch her go. And it's just messy. It's an amazing, it's a sight. It's a beautiful thing. Jane, for our friend Jane Johnson from Canada, says to tell you hello and always loves you being here. It's fun to see her here. She's connecting with everybody. It's fun to see Jane saying hello from Canada. So Terry, how do you keep it positive? Like, you're a connector, you're out in the world, you're speaking, and you're traveling around the world. You're doing TED Talks. I mean, all of a sudden you're going nowhere and you're home with Mr. Hudson. How you dealing with it? How you dealing with it?
Well, first you put up crime scene tape so that he stays on his side. Okay. And then you have your taser loaded, so if he comes over, he knows he's going to get it. I'll tell you what. Can we be real here? I'm going to tell you, and I had this discussion with a couple of people. It's not fun. There are times that you just feel sad. You have to feel sad. There's a grief factor. People that you know are dying. People have left the planet. You don't know where your next meal's coming from because they just canceled all your gigs. It is like somebody took the drawer and went boom. All right. No, I'm going to tell you, it takes real discipline to stay in gratitude. And I start early. There was a time when I told you I couldn't walk across the room. So walking for me, big deal. Hot water. Yeah, our hot water heater went out for 3 weeks. I felt like Pollyanna with the boiling the water to wash dishes. We had no hot water. Let me tell you how much I love hot water. Okay, and you probably just turn on that spigot. Yeah, you have to go to gratitude first, and then you reach out to the people. And it's not like you want to, bring them down, but people that are going to enrich you with looking at something differently. Because one thing that sequestering has done, Virl, is we have to breathe our own ether. And the gift of having other people around is that beautiful collective intellect, that perception that comes from a different look that we can't have. I mean, we could grow up in the same family. You could be a twin, but how you process and what you see is going to be totally different. And if you're physically down, I mean, I'm going to tell you, I pump iron because I don't want to hurt people. I mean, I want to pump iron 5 days a week, and we can't go to the gym. So, your physicality is going to change because you're not doing the kinds of things that you release stress with. So, you have to deal with the fact that the grief is real, and we're not always going to be like this. I mean, we're not. And there are times that I just, all of a sudden, this wave of sadness will come over you, and you'll think, okay, wait a minute. We're not in war. There's not nuclear fallout. We got running water. The refrigerator's working. Okay. I mean, find the sacred in the ordinary. Find someone you love and I've been dropping notes like it just says, I just want you to know in this moment in time in Memphis, Tennessee, I'm thinking about you and sending you a big Italian, socially distanced, appropriate hug. And I throw it in the mail.
People love that. I've been on the receiving side of Terry Murphy's virtual hugs, and I embrace them. I pass them forward.
Oh yeah, why not? Because the energy that you create goes so far beyond your knowing.
Well, it makes Marge, my accountant, feel uncomfortable when I got a Terry Murphy hug coming her way. She's like, social distance. So we do that. So Terry, so it's been hard, and I appreciate you being honest about that. It's not easy being home and having everybody there. That's I think that the reason I've been married so long happily is because I travel for a living, and now I'm home all the time. And my wife's like, "Don't you have anywhere else to go?" It's changed because it matters, right? When you have your own space and your own programs and the way you run your lives. Now all of a sudden you're intertwined 24/7, and it's not easy.
I think you can find a lot of people that are going to be. We don't say your forever home; we say your forever sequester home, because you realize all the things. But you got a good point there. We all need alone space. We do, but man, this. The first week was kind of fun. The second week was, oh yeah, bonus. And after 2 months, you're like, wait a minute. You have to put on a hazmat suit to go to the grocery store.
Right.
You got to bleach everything in the garage. I mean, it's crazy. But the thing to look at is, if there's a reason there's a action with a reaction of why we're with the people that we're with, and it's a great time to really get introspective about where we want to go from here. Because at this moment, we're okay. It's not perfect, but we don't know what the next moment's going to be. And so I think it forces us to look at the now to create the next, in a way that is, how are we going to fix this? What can we do?
So Terry, when you said, I don't know where I want to go from here, my immediate emotional response was, anywhere. I want to go anywhere, like outside of my house. I want to go, I'm thinking I need to buy mountain bikes. I don't even ride bikes, but I want to now. Yeah. Because I don't want to sit home anymore. We're finding ourselves looking for other things to engage us.
Well, and think about the other thing too, is you're not getting any new experiences, because at home it's fairly regulated. You know what's going to happen. When you're out there in the world, you're always in change. You're always in that continual image. All images are changing all the time. And so it's really made us look introspectively to say, what can I do then to maximize this time, which I would not have done. And people are, by the way, you can't buy walnuts because everybody's become Martha Stewart. Okay,
who's baking, right? or yeast. You can't get yeast because you can't make bread
anywhere. Right? Yeah, and forget the paper towel to clean up the mess. Okay, right. I mean, whoever thought that contraband would be freaking paper towels? But it is. Right. So, but what if your kids will never forget the baking cookies things with you, because you could never do that because you were on the road? I mean, these are you've got to look for the little wins. There's little wins out there. And boy, I'll tell you what, by the end of the day, sitting in this chair, this will be my 4th hour Zoom, and I've got one more to go today. So, the lipstick and the makeup has got to be refreshed every hour. But I'll tell you what, you want to do something. So maybe you walk somewhere you've never walked before. I mean, it's just physically, you've got to keep moving so you oxygenate, because that's why kids are so full of energy. And so you've got to do something. And trust me, I wouldn't just get up and walk in Memphis, Tennessee. Trust me. But, I did it the other day, and it was terrific. You got to see the hood. You saw people trying to do their thing. They were waving from their balconies and stuff. It's just like, okay, new way to connect.
I think it's awesome. Yeah, I think it's awesome. I got to tell you that Tammy Slay says, look at the now to create the next.
That Tammy, she's always got to
right. That's a good one.
Outdo us. That's
Julie Tim sends you a virtual hug, and Cleve Gaddis says, "Hi, Virl." And Terry's my favorite. No comparison. There's Virl, and then Terry's my favorite. So I'm glad to be here to just to talk to you. It's fun, and I love that you've taken something that is challenging, and you've made me think more deeply about it. And what I love, Terry, is the way that you turn every circumstance, whether it's positive or negative in your life, into a gift somehow. How do you do that? It's a gift.
I don't know that I do that. I just know that, so when you get smacked into a concrete wall at 40 miles an hour, it gives you a whole different perspective about the now, because, listen, we're all about progress, right? I mean, we are, we're planning this, and if we do these activities, we know we're going to get to here, but we always forget the why. Why do you want to get there? So I can go on vacation with my family, not that you would do it this week. Or I could, get a better car, or I could, get a lake house. But why do you want to do that? It's the pursuit of peace. It's the pursuit of joy and love in the moment. So like Tammy says, it's the next. In the now is when you connect the next. So if something stupid happens, which happens all the time, right? Because, you know, you're going along and all of a sudden there's a bump in that road and the bike goes over. Look for the pony in the pile. There's a reason for this. I'm not saying that there's a reason you fell down or there's a reason that you're, you know, overdrawn. I'm just saying there's something that you had to pay attention to that you would not, because this goes on all the time. The chatter does not stop. Here's where I think the inspiration comes from, Verl, and that is, if you don't like the script, write another one. Because if you keep focusing on the script that just happened, you won't rewrite the script with a happy ending. Now, that sounds Pollyanna.
No.
But think about that. My brother Frank, if you ever called him, I'd say, Frank, how you doing? He goes, everything goes my way. Everything goes my way. He say that every single time you talk to him. And he had a glorious life. Everything goes my way. Even if the horses got out, even if, you know, this contractor didn't show up, everything goes my way. Well, what if you changed your script from what bad's going to happen to everything goes my way?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. We're getting by, trying to survive, staying safe. Those are all scripts that we play, aren't they?
Rabbit hole.
Right. You know, it reminds me of something Cleve said to the sales team. He was doing Cleve Gaddis is one of our master coaches that works with my sales team. And he says, look, if what you're saying isn't getting the result you want, say something else. Like, and it doesn't even have to be good. It just don't keep doing that because it's not working. Say anything else, right? And so I love to change the script. Just change it to something else. What's better? Anything but that, because it's not working.
I had the privilege of interviewing Vicki King. Vicki is the author of How to Write a Movie in 21 Days. She's the reason Spike Lee is Spike Lee and Boys in the Hood. She's amazing. And she talked about, can the pandemic have a silver lining? And she points out all of the reasons why on a global level, there are actions that go beyond our reactions, and how you see something is your reality. And so if you see this pandemic as this horrible thing, and I can't get my, you know, I can't have my week at Starbucks. Okay, fine, whatever. There's a reason for it, and the gift is in the moment. And she talks about changing how you write the script in a way that you control how you feel in the moment, because it's all about how you feel. That's what we do when we do something for our clients and customers. It's not about getting a pie. I mean, right. they can get a pie. It's the fact that you maybe made a note. How about what Lee Tessier did with delivering 80 lunches to the ICU?
Right.
I mean, they're not going to forget. They may not even ever remember it was Lee, although if they saw him, they wouldn't forget, because, you know, he's adorable.
And what's funny is he didn't do it because he hopes he sells them something. He did it because he wow, they're really making a difference in our community. And who's thinking?
Yeah, but think about what it did for Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you can't predict how somebody else is going to feel if you gave him a ham sandwich, but he felt good about it. And what felt good about it is the whole team felt good about it. So that is energy that's out there. All energy has action and reaction. And so when you think about that, yeah, this is brutal. I mean, our neighbors are just, I'm watching these old guys sit 6 feet apart and screaming at each other because they can't hear each other in the park, but they're 6 feet apart, having a great time because they're so desperate to connect with people. So if anything else is going to teach us that connecting with people is okay.
No, right. It's hard, but it's a gift. Well, if there's no other message that I get from this call today, Terry, it's the thinking of, where's the silver lining? Where's the gift in this pandemic? Where's the, you know, there's a lot of people that are suffering, so I don't discount that. But for me, I think I can look at my life and I can look at the things that are going on in my home, and I can choose to find the silver lining, to find the, did you call it a pony in the pile?
Yep, pony in the pile. Well, there's a little story about a little boy, 2 little boys. The one goes, there must be a pony here somewhere. I'm digging, because there's a big pile. If you're a farm kid, you'd understand that, bro. Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out why I want a pony. I have to clean up after it and feed it. Yeah. Is that a gift?
My father said, don't ever get anything to eat while you sleep. Yeah.
Right. Well, Terry, what a blessing. You know, one of my favorite books was written by Don Hudson called Selling Price, Not Value. And Terry wanted to make that available to everybody, going to our download, workmansuccess.com/, FB Live 42/9/20. Oh, that's the date. 4/29/20.
Yeah, that's an ebook version. We kind of retrofitted it for
Oh,
real.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, we'll put it in the link. We'll put it in the comments so everybody else has to get access to that. Thank you for that. Tell us a little bit about it. Tell us about why value is more important than price.
Well, 100 years ago, I hired Hudson to speak for the Illinois Association of Realtors. And Danny Cox, if you know the
Sure.
leadership when the heat's on, said, you got to have my buddy Don Hudson speak on value. And of course, I'm like, yeah, whatever. In those days, and you're the Ginsu knives expert, the story about, Ginsu knives, it was giving you more stuff, right? But wait, we'll give you 5 more carving knives, that kind of thing. And he tells this story, this underwear story about getting hired by Jockey International and how the man just kept adding value to the outcome and making it easy for Don to accept a date where he was actually not interested in speaking. But he made it so appealing to how Don would feel, having the jet helicopter pick him up and whatever. And I started thinking about what is value. So what's valuable to you may not be valuable to me. So for me, wow, a new outfit, a new shoes, or great mascara would be value, but not to you. So why do we push as agents? Why do we push what we think is valuable on someone else? If nothing else, this, I'll call it incarceration, has given us a way to create new ways to create value. And one of them, I think, is safety. I don't think people understand the power of making people feel safe. Now, let me clarify that. Safety is nobody wants to make a mistake. They don't want to make a mistake in the wrong restaurant. They don't want to, they don't want to make a mistake in the wrong product. And they sure as heck don't want to make the biggest mistake on where they choose to live. Now, Cleve said it so beautifully today. He said, what's the first thing we do when we show a house? Here's your family room. Okay, family rooms are all over the country, okay? Family room is a family room. I don't care. There's different Guga in there, but it's a family room. What he talked about was what's important to living where that family room is. And that's the one thing the internet can't really do unless you search and search and search. And then is it true? Here's the gift that realtors have. We are hyper local. We drive around those streets. We know the traffic patterns and we know where there's going to be an issue when the high school lets out. That is hyper local, precious information to someone who needs it. And so I think we undervalue that experiential piece that we have to translate it to relational. And so value really is in the eyes of the consumer. And so we're pushing all this stuff on, tell them what the market updates are. Here, Cleve did a beautiful thing about employment so that we could give consumer confidence to the fact that there's a report that, it only went down a little bit. Well, that makes people who have jobs or, want to get hired good. Be that provider of safety. And that's going to make a big difference in your value.
I love that. When you talk about value, that's all we have right now. Like if you're doing anything except finding ways to offer value, then you're missing this amazing opportunity to serve others. And I think that's probably, if not the most important thing we get out of this, it's that we stop thinking about ourselves and we start thinking about others. And if we do that, you'll be successful.
So I'm going to share a quick story with you. One of the ladies that was on our call this morning from the Memphis Association, we broke it up like we did for coaches training, where we broke it up into 4 breakout rooms. And thank you, that worked. Oh my God, I was freaking out. I mean, I took more tutorials on how to do a breakout, than I did for my tests. And anyway, she said, I don't really know. I don't know. Dialogues freak me out. And then she proceeds to tell us how she helped a little local person, had a little business that made wooden eggs, carved wooden eggs. And she bought a bunch and put some paintbrushes and paint together. And for Easter, put for kids as like a little craft basket for each of the kids in her top 50.
Love it.
Okay, as a parent with kids, wouldn't you just love something like that? And they're sending her videos and pictures and posting it on social media. Now, she never intended to do that. She's like, I got kids. What can you do with these kids that's different? And it had a little Easter thing. So again, it's a value that they're not going to forget, because who else did that? Nobody.
I love that. Terry, give us one parting thought, one thing that you'd like to leave everybody on our audience with. And we'll get hundreds of people that'll watch this over the next few days. What would you like to leave them with? If there's one thing that they could leave with that would make them remember the time they had with you today, what would you like them to have?
Oh, that's just real easy for me, Verl. And I mean this from the heart because I do nothing but study this. We wildly underestimate our value. We compare ourselves to the superstars who are doing a gajillion transactions, but you personally have a walk that you've walked that is so totally yourself, so totally unique, that what you bring to the table is priceless. So I'm going to say to you, do a better job of creating the value that's already there, that's yours alone, and don't worry about how somebody else packages it. It's all about you and how you connect. So be the best you. Take this time to advance your skill set, your knowledge, your experience, something. You can take little bits like Charlie Tremendous Jones says, take little bits from other people, but ultimately it comes through your vision and it's all you.
I love that. I have nothing to add to that, Terry. On behalf of Workman Success and our entire family, thank you for being such a great guest today. And thank you for the impact you're making on so many people's lives. Thanks, everybody. And thank you for being here.
Ciao.